Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to AquaBrain. I'm your Virgil, Drew. On today's show, we're going to talk about snow skating, potentially also arcade machines and scooters, but definitely snow skating. I met my next guest when I was picking up a box of Boyd Hill swag for a Skate the Snow premiere I put on in Port Angeles with the help of many people. That's a story for another time. But he was also a sponsor on the Living the Dream, the Free Foot Future video as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Bryce Rich. How the hell are you, Bryce?
Great to see you, Drew.
Dude, it's really good to see you, man. Like I was just saying in my intro that I remember picking up a box of Boyd Hill swag from you out there in a hotel room in Seattle for the Skate the Snow premiere.
I think we might have been in Portland. I remember you coming to the hotel, we had drinks. And I brought something for you, Drew.
What?
I knew you were going to wear your fucking cowboy hat there, partner.
Nice. Hey,
well,
I know.
Howdy there, Drew.
Howdy. Howdy, Bryce.
Well, we're going to need to do an interview with cowboy hat on, but I just wanted to fuck with you a little bit.
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Yeah, I inherited this from my grandpa and yeah, I don't know. I figured, what the heck? I'm out in the country. I'm out kind of by where you grew up, actually.
Now that you're in Southern Idaho, are you in Boise proper? You know, I'm in Nampa, Idaho.
I'm in Boise proper.
Yeah, I grew up in Nampa, Idaho, and we skied at Bogus Basin.
God, it's great, isn't it, man? Just acres.
What we did is we would go after, once we started snowboarding, it was like in high school. Quit skiing, started snowboarding. We would go to Bogus Basin and we'd clip lift tickets because Bogus was open at night every night. So we would go after school, drive to Bogus, like an hour drive, and then clip lift tickets off people leaving.
Oh,
with wire cutters, give them a couple bucks for gas for their way home or whatever. And then the lift tickets from the day were good at night. So we clipped tickets. We did this all through like high school and college. So I basically learned to snowboard at night at Bogus Basin.
So what did they just use, zip ties or what was that?
Oh no, it's metal wickets. We brought wire cutters. You shove the wire cutters down past the paper.
Sure.
You clip it, you take it off, and you shove it back in the thing.
That old chestnut.
Nah, juice. It was a low tech time, dude. It was late 80s, We got away with it. We never got caught.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Hey, so right off the bat, I wanna talk about the event you got coming up.
Yeah, you bet, man.
Sort of Natural.
It's the Boyd Hill Sort of Natural. This is our 6th year doing it. And yeah, I'm super pumped about it. It's a really good event. We're trying to become, we want to be kind of like the Bank Slalom. People coming from all over the country. We've got people from traveling. We had Rune Hole here last year, my Norwegian distributor. People come from all over the country. So it's becoming a really good event, man. We're having a lot of fun with it, and it's really nice to host our own event. Not too much as a product push, but like just kind of get the whole crew together, And Bank Slalom is like the format for snow skating, I think. The only thing that makes more sense than Bank Slalom to me would be skater cross, which nobody really does yet. But I think if it was going to be like, an X Games televised sport, fucking skater cross.
Skater cross. Sport
of the future.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Snowskates actually battling. I mean, that's what. Bank Slalom, time-tested snowboard tradition. I get it. Skiers love it. Skaters love it. It's awesome. Shows style, shows flow. But if you have skater cross going on, talking like it's a whole new world out there.
Like 4 on or 5 on.
Yeah, 4 at a time. Fuck it. Yeah, go for it. Send it.
That'd be madness,
we got just mingling up with other people and just. Serpentine Massacre, right? It's kind of a skater cross. No holds barred, It's like
that's right.
That's why Serpentine's cool.
So where is your event? Where do you have it?
Our event what we do is we do a dig day at Lookout Pass on Friday, which ends up being a free ride day. It's a powder day. Not very many people are digging. But we always hold our event the first weekend of March because traditionally the end of February, early March in North Idaho is primo. You get like these long days, the sun's out. And we traditionally have like a bunch of snow in February and early March. It's like the best skiing. And it doesn't interfere with other ski events, and just seems to work out the best. So what we do is on Friday, dig day. And then once everybody's done digging and setting in the course, right across the road from Lookout Pass, like a freeway pass, lookouts on this side, and there's just a mountain on this side. But there's a really beautiful powder surfing open area right across the road from Lookout Pass, directly across the freeway. So people can hike laps. We take the sleds up, usually tow a few people up, get everybody one run in on this just wide open, just easy, kind of low angle powder.
Oh man.
And it's just, the access is unreal. So it gives everybody a chance to get some really, really easy backcountry. And it's just worked out great. So what we do is like a dig party day on Friday, get the course set up. Saturday at Lookout Pass is the full-on sort of natural bank slalom, and it's a run called Rolling Thunder. And it's like somebody took a cat on the mountain. This is Forest Service property. Somebody took a cat up on this mountain in the 80s, it looks like. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Yeah. And they dug a trench down this hill.
Yeah.
So they maybe like in mid-80s, late 90s, I don't know. A long time ago, it looks like somebody tried to make a terrain park or a half pipe. So it's got it looks like somebody took a cat down and dug this trench out down this hill. So without even doing a ton of work, it's already this big ditch. It would be like a pretty small bank slalom for snowboards, but it works out perfect for snow skates. Because it's already kind of set in place. We throw the gates in, shape some corners, and we're done.
Nice.
It really is a true snake run. It's beautiful. It's perfect for snow skating. So it's why we call it sort of natural, because it's sort of a natural half pipe. But
I get it.
It's actually, I don't think it's naturally existing. It just happens to be there. It works out fantastic for our purposes. Lookout Pass has been a very good host to us, and it's a cool spot. They kind of give us the run of the race course for the day, and then so that's a Saturday event. We like the downhill at the end of the day, last run, kind of a prize scatter at the bottom. We brought the hippie jump to the snow skate world a couple of years ago, jumping off the snow skate, landing back on it. So that's gotten to become like end of day session event kind of toward the parking lot there. And then Sunday is we do a day at Silver Mountain. So everybody that enters the race gets a discounted ticket for Silver Mountain. And then Silver Mountain's got a whole really, really good terrain park set up for us. It's totally snow skatable, but once again, sometimes it's powder day, all bets are off. Everybody kind of meets in this terrain park at the end of the day. We kind of do a full pool, peer reviewed. Nobody's really judging, just a session, right? The way it's supposed to be, just a big snow skate session in the park. Yeah. Everybody's filming, hiking the feature over and over again. So it becomes kind of a freestyle format, but just kind of, I would call it peer reviewed at this point.
Yeah. No,
and then, but Idaho's really, it's a really good place to have an event because these mountains aren't charging us a bunch of money. Right, Airbnbs are dirt cheap. Hotels are cheap, super accessible. Land of hospitality. Everybody has fun, and we've really just kind of grown to love this event, and so is everybody else. I had Adam Cooper over here over the weekend. He was asking. We were talking about sort of natural, and you don't make any money off an event, and it's a chance for everybody to get together, right? And then, I'm not kidding, Drew, every single person there comes up and thanks me personally for hosting the event and gives me a hug. Every single fucking person that shows up thanks me personally, tells me what a great time they had, and gives me a hug. Every single person that shows up, without fail. They don't even ask for that. So, is that success? I don't know. That's what success looks like to me, man.
Yeah, I mean, must feel great, too. It's hey.
Yeah, dude, we got Sheehan's coming from Ralston Snowskates this year. We got a whole Tahoe contingent coming up. All the West Coast regulars, everybody is coming. It's the core group shows up. New Mexico shows up. We got Montana, Colorado, Oregon, people California, people show up from all over the place. And I want to make it a destination. So I'm super stoked about that. It's my house is usually full for a week, and there's a lot of it's a party. But it's a great time. Everybody's, it's been awesome. It's been a good run. This is our 6th year, and we got this formula down. and it goes pretty seamless, man. Like I'm super pumped on it.
Yeah, it seems like a big year for Boyd Hill. You just put out a couple videos. You released a couple new presses, or you got a new press, and you got a couple new forms.
For sure, yeah. What happened is I wouldn't say things were getting stale, but we've made a lot of shapes over the years, and there's other people in the sport pushing it with like a lot of shapes and a lot of sizes, and like Danny Sheehan's one of those guys, like doesn't stop innovating. I fucking love that. That pushes us to make new shapes and sizes. For this, we Lord Brendan Carraro came up. We had two really kind of innovative all mountain shapes, but like we had to change like all of our cambers, change all of our molds, right? The molds press the ski and determines how the ski is going to come out, right? So like basically we kind of like retooled everything for bigger mountain stuff and how we think it's going to work, right? But there's like the vetting process for that isn't overnight. I'm not emailing a company overseas and giving them a shape and say, make me this ski. We made this ski last year and we weren't happy with it. We made both these big skis last year. We got the new Donger and we got the new slush boat. Made them both last year and we made adjustments. We rode them last spring and we realized what the adjustments were and we went back to the drawing board and we had to retool. We had a new press that T and I put together and then make things right and then change the sizes. So it's like a 2-year vetting process for these two shapes. It wasn't overnight. There was some trial and error, but now it's kind of like renewed my enthusiasm. It's like, all right, motherfuckers, here's what's up. This is what we're doing. We don't care what anybody else is doing. Like, somebody was asking me like yesterday about another company's shapes and sizes, and I was like, dude, I got no idea. Right. I don't know because I'm not looking. You know what I mean?
Check my shapes.
Somebody made a bigger ski. What are the specs? I couldn't fucking tell you. I have no idea. We're working on our own shapes. You know what I mean? I'm stoked everybody's making big shapes or their own shapes, but honestly, it's not a factor in what we're doing. So we're just making. We got good rider input, and that's super, super important. It always has been. And I'm not even the guy to give the input. Like, you get a really good rider, like a Brendan or somebody that's like gives some positive feedback, or like Elkins, is giving like super positive feedback on like camber's got to be here, and like we listen to these guys, know what the fuck we're talking about.
Right. Somebody's gonna.
And then we have the tooling capability to make this happen. And then it's like, but you have to like, you got to spend some money to make the right tools and make the right part and make things better, right? The better it is, the better it is.
Well, and I like.
But it takes time.
I like the fact when I was looking at it, it seems like you're making something that is versatile, that you can hit, that when you go from some soft, deeper stuff onto something crusty or hard, it's not just going to throw you.
I don't know if you're going to get a really good angle of that.
There we go. That's good. Yeah. Look at that. Wow.
It's super rocker. What's going to happen is when you're in that groom or snow, this nose is going to be up in the air and like this big wide spot. You're not going to be fighting that on a groomer. It's going to be up in the air. So your effective edge is like right in front of the front trucks here.
Yeah. Wow.
With your tails, you're going to be carving the smaller part of the board. And when you get in the deep stuff, you've got all the action right in front of you,
It's like a fairly wide.
So the whole idea is like the true all mountain board, right? You're never going to have one. You're never going to have one board. There's never going to be one board that does it all.
You gotta have
when you get a big board, like you're riding through the groomer, then you find your tree stash. Fuck yeah. We saw this years ago. People were cutting the tails off their big Florida powder skates. You get on this big steep run, right? And you're trying to fight that tail, trying to make these big turns, right? And so it's a struggle. You have to like kind of release everything and make that turn. Release everything and make that turn. So you're fighting this tail the entire time. If you get this little chopped off tail, just like what snowboarding is done with directional snowboards, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this tail is just, you're washing the windows, making those turns, and it's like becomes so much more effortless. And this is just it's like everybody's going to do it, but it's what's the point of having a big tail on a powder skate? Really, you're just going to be fighting it, and it's going to be more stress on your back leg. Like snow skating is like ends up, especially in powder, it becomes like that. Like I said, that window washing effect, where you're like, that back leg is doing all the work. It's that rudder in the back, right?
Yep.
And the faster you can move that rudder around, the faster you can, toe side, heel side. So it's been pretty effective so far. But, what we've kind of ended up doing is, we've never really made a ton of park boards, never made a lot of small mountain boards. We're making Pacific Northwest boards. We're making big mountain boards because that's where we ride.
Right.
We're not making, like the Lord V Pro model, right? It's this big, giant, crazy-ass board. I can barely ride it in downs because we kind of did them flat. But now that we're going to push those rockered, like that big, giant Lord V knows, we can do these. We can ride these boards in, in all conditions. It's kind of the idea, right?
Yeah. What was that board that you were showing? Is that the slush
boat?
boat?
It's the new slush boat. Yeah, this is pretty. Look at the tip on this. I mean, it's huge. This board's only 122 centimeters long. That's not gigantic by any means, but that it's meaty. It's not narrow. I mean, that thing's wide that's wide. It's a big, giant man board. I mean, that's like, it's a pretty aggressive board for being 122 centimeters, but like the 115 is kind of my daily rider. We made it kind of wider. It's like, it's not a beginner board at all. But like, once you can rip on it, like I can handle some powder in it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like, we try to have something. We try to have a little something for everyone. We do have narrower stuff, but for the stuff we're riding, and you want the strength to push through that chop or whatever's going on. It's always the struggle, right? The board should fit the person. It's not going to be one board for everybody, and it's not, a men's board or women's board. It's like size and ability, weight, all these factors that come in, whatever you're comfortable with, and also where you're riding. So everybody's got to figure it out, and I think snowskating's always been a quiver sport for sure, but
yeah,
but you get that favorite board, right? That's what you want to be, like whatever it is. In the snowboard world, there's always like the board of the year, so we want to be like kind of the go-to, like what's the best board for the conditions, right?
I like that. Well, cool. So Boyd Hill, you started the company in 2009, and so what was kind of your inspiration to get going? Like what was the thing that said, I got to make these things?
So Todd Delier is kind of my partner in Boyd Hill. So he ended up, and Todd and I were, Todd and I had met years ago. We were both kind of skateboard collectors and snowboarders or whatever. I met Todd back when I was a wildland firefighter, and Todd was a wildland firefighter. And I bought my house, and then Todd bought his house, which is also on Boyd Avenue in Coeur d'Alene. So Todd grew up in this neighborhood. He bought his grandpa's house. I got divorced and bought the house I'm in. So we ended up on either end of the sledding hill. I live at the top. Todd lives at the bottom, and the city blocks this hill off in the wintertime for sledding. It's called Boyd Avenue.
Nice.
So so we started, Todd had we've always been sledding the hill, snowboarding the hill, whatever it is we're doing on the hill. Years ago, a long time ago, Todd had, like, the first time Liv Tech made a longer snow skate. The only snow skate I'd ever seen was like a little Burton toy thing. And Todd came up with like whatever the next generation of slightly longer Liv Techs were. And I jumped on the hill one day, it was like kind of flat snow with a few inches of powder, and I rode a bigger snow skate. And this moment of clarity, it's like, oh, shit, this actually works, right? This actually turns, it carves, and then from there, similar to like how Sheehan's Ralston got started, it's like using Snoller blades, right? Like one half of a pair of Snoller blades or short skis, whatever the hell they call those, and then putting inserts in and making our own. But at the time, like, you couldn't go online, you couldn't buy trucks.
Yeah.
Nobody sold a leash. You couldn't go online and buy grip, Like, none of this existed. So we started Boyd Hill as kind of like we weren't sure if we were going to carry everything or just some of it. But, it's like, all right, let's sell some grip. All right, Mark Edmondson up at Chiller Deck was a big influence because he was already building his own boards up there, right? Him and his crew, he was starting to build his own boards. And Mark, we were buying orders of grip together. And it's like, all right, what if we had access to trucks? This is Starfish Magazine days. What if we sold trucks? What if we sold skis? That would be great. What if we sold decks? And all, you could a la carte build these things we couldn't buy individually, right?
Right.
And then what happened is I met TJ Sneva kind of just accidentally in Spokane. TJ was part of a snowboard manufacturing factory in Spokane, and so TJ and I had struck up a relationship. And I've been bugging the snowboard factory. We've been talking about building snow skates for a while, but like these guys didn't see it as a very maybe they saw it as viable, but like didn't care as much as we did, right? Like it's not your project, you don't care.
Exactly.
And true story. One day they were trying to build some snowboards or skis or whatever it is they were doing, and they were out of money. They were broke, and they needed a couple $100 to buy a bucket of resin so they could build some snowboards to make some money, right? There's out of materials. And so these guys called me up. I was, on my Red Bull round, I would stop by there all the time and harass these guys and hang out, whatever. And so they called me up. They're, hey, Bryce, buy us a bucket of resin. We'll make you 5 Snowskates. So I showed up at the shop, and Todd and I came up with the shape for them. Got online, got on the phone, ordered them a bucket of fiberglass resin. And they told me 5, but they made me 4. They made me 4 Snowskates. And I'm pretty much sure, I know where all 4 of those first Snowskates are. I've got one in my garage. Todd's got one. Kevin from December Snowskates has one, and Mark Edmondson has one. Like, it was like a pretty big shape. It was like wide, pretty aggressive, but it was twin tip. We know what the fuck we were doing. Right. And like, it worked pretty good if you were going like 25 miles an hour or faster. Like, it didn't work at slow speeds at all because it was totally twin, so it wanted to like wash around backwards. That was that was our first that was our first ski. And then, like, I'm not kidding, the very next ski we made was the which is the 109, which is like basically a ski we still use today. So like, we got it right on the second try.
Wow.
But like having a master ski builder like TJ Sneva behind us is what's really made the difference. And he was with the snowboard manufacturer he was with, John Rock, is what got us in the door. So I really have these guys to thank for the introduction and kind of getting it going. And then as TJ has grown his business, I've grown with him, right? His best man in his wedding. So TJ and I have been close for the last 10 years. And so as as I help him buy materials and, as we fix up his factory, he built a bigger factory, making everything. So, I'm really his partner in making his vision of how to build skis and, the sustainable business of like a Pacific Northwest ski builder, right?
You got some
cash
I want, injection.
His success. Our success should be actually part of his success. Like, I want him to be successful, right? Like, we want our friends to do good. We want our friends to be great. But like that, he's the best guy in the world, and what he does is really unparalleled. And his knowledge of manufacturing and building is like untouched. This is the guy that, like, he doesn't read fucking books. He barely graduated high school. He's never read a work of fiction in his life. He doesn't watch movies. He doesn't watch TV. You know what I mean? The only book he's ever read is like a Haynes manual for an Audi.
Huh.
But he's like this awesome mechanic, and he's got this race car mentality to him, right? Like, he grew up racing. He raced professionally for almost a decade in Indianapolis. His dad was Rookie of the Year in Indianapolis 500 one year. His uncle won the Indy 500. So he comes from this line. And his grandpa built his first ski press. These are true engineers. These are craftsmen.
Man.
And like, the race theory is like, you make things better one thing at a time, right? Like, you got a race car set up, and you go and change the suspension, the jetting on the carburetor, the gearing, and the tire pressure. And the car goes faster. Well, what the fuck made it faster? You don't know, because you changed 5 things at once.
Right.
It's a race car theory. It's like, super pyramid like you change one thing to make it faster, yes or no. Change one thing to make it faster, yes or no. So it's this, without being a scientist, it's this scientific process of like, how do you make things better? And like, if you work with TJ, and TJ and I talk almost every single day, and he's fixing one thing at a time. So it's constantly getting better, like one incremental bit at a time. So our shit right now doesn't look anything like it did 8 years ago. It doesn't look like it did last year. Like, graphics get better, the fucking bases get better, cores get better, time, temperature, like all this shit changes all the time just by like these little tiny building blocks. So it's a super fun process to be a part of. And I'm not that smart. I mean, like, I have an idea and I'm passionate, I like to problem solve, but you get a guy like that and you work with him, fucking sky's the limit, dude. It's like, game on. We can do anything we want.
Brings out good qualities in people to be around those
best
people.
qualities. Surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah.
Makes it better.
Exactly.
That's the whole idea. We're not shipping off a shape and asking somebody else to make it for us. Like, we're doing it, and like, what's the best way we're going to do it? And he doesn't snow skate, so he relies on our input. And he's like, oh, that mold's to him, a big giant rocker mold for the escapes looks kooky,
Right.
but he doesn't care. It's like he knows that this is what the riders say, and this is the science behind it. And let's do it. Let's make them stiffer. Let's make them stiffer. We had poplar cores. We went to maple cores. We want these things like super stiff, chop through the crud. It's
Awesome.
so having the means to play around with shapes and ideas and be a mad scientist in a shop is awesome, and it's super unique, and I'm really really thankful to be a part of it. I think it's awesome.
That's cool, man. Hey, I gotta ask you about that board that has, or the sub that has like the foot, the toes.
Oh
on.
yeah, that's Brian Wilson's. I can probably find a picture of it.
I always see him riding it.
Well, Brian Wilson loves that board. It's really just based on one of our existing shapes. It was like a 115, like kind of an all mountain board. We made it. It was a prize for the Sword of Natural one year. It was the raffle prize. But you remember those Snoller blades, right? Snoller blades are kind of where snow skating came from. This like son Sheehan used to buy them from China. We all made these homemade snow skates using short skis. But do you remember the Bigfoot skis? They look like a foot on either side. They were black skis with like toes on them. They had toes physically carved into the top of them. They're called Bigfoot. So it looked like you had a right and a left. And it looked like you're this goofy ass big, it's a black ski, but there was actually toes on it. So what we did is we ripped off that graphic and we made one ski. So we just changed the nose shape. So we ripped off their graphic like these pink toes. Yeah. And we just carved the toes. And we've only made one of those.
Really? There's only one.
Wilson rides it every day. He loves it.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. You make a prize and the thing works really well. That's cool.
Sure. But like I said, it was like a big joke about the Snoller blade skis, which like if somebody has a pair, I probably need some for a wall hanger because it'd be cool to put them side by side, or no, maybe we'll make some more of those one summer when we're bored, because they came out really cool. Effective edge was the same, so they were totally functional. You look like a goofball in the chair without a doubt.
Cool, man. Well, hey, so
skaters are cool.
Yeah. So tell me about the arcade collecting. Are you a pinball collector?
You can see a couple pinball machines in the back. So I think between me and my buddy Ronnie right now, we own like something like 55 games.
Oh man.
So my garage is full, my house is full. And we do different things with pinball machines. The pinball machines kind of, they make us, I'm not kidding, from day one, we've used arcades and pinballs to like fund this fucking snow skate business. Like we would buy games and then fix them up and sell them to earn money. It's seriously, TJ and I used to, like, we ended up with like a whole trailer full of games. When he first got his factory in Spokane, we were like just flipping games for cash for materials and presses, and like it's been ridiculous. But it's always been, it's in a really weird way, it's always been kind of part of our business in just like it's so super indirect way. But like the pinball and arcade stuff's always helped kind of fund us on and the money kind of goes both ways. Helps fund us on the snow skate front. But I was thinking about it today, and it's like, I knew you were gonna ask about pinball machines, but when I'm here by myself, I don't play pinball. But I work on pinball when I'm by myself. Like you have a problem, right? Something nags at you for a little while, and you look online, you try to learn something, you read, like, it might be a week, it might be a month, but like the problem solving process is like, that's the rewarding part, right? I fixed it. I figured it out. You know what I mean? Like when you find like the problem to something, you fix it. I'm the guy that can't build a puzzle. You know what I mean? Like I've never built a jigsaw puzzle in my life more than 100 pieces. Never. But like pinball machines, like this thing I could never imagine taking apart and put back together. It's like it's like rewarding, right? It's like this, and then you get to play them. But it's like it's fun to work on them, fun to fix them. And then it's like thrilled to hunt, try to find them, and have the most rare games. And but when you get your buddies over, you're whacking beers and playing pinball. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. But
well, yeah, I mean, you can't beat it, honestly.
No, it's super fun. So like now, when everybody comes to town for like snow skating, they all know when they come to Bryce's house, fucking game on, because everybody's hammering pinball. In fact, Adrian Rasmussen and Alan Gerlach were here yesterday morning on their way to Minnesota, and I was at work. Those guys stopped by here to drop a car off, and they sat here and played pin for 2 hours. There's like just junked out in my house for a while. They know what the program is.
Yeah, they know what's up. Well, cool, man. I have to ask you about scooters.
Yeah, man. So it's probably been it's been a while now in a different life, but when we started collecting scooters, I don't even know how we got into it. A girlfriend of mine came over one time, had never been to my house before, and walked into my driveway, and it was like just a junkyard of vintage Vespas, right? Just a lineup. And what she said was, "So how does this happen?"
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like a normal person thing. There's there's vintage Vespas, but it was something we got into young, but then I never really could either afford a bike or didn't have the time. It was after I got divorced, it was 20 years ago. It's fuck, I'm getting the Vespa. And then that allowed us to meet, people all over the Pacific Northwest, and we go to scooter rallies and you make friends. And so our club is called 2%. So our scooter club is 2%, but it's like a family club, right? It's invite only, vintage scooters only. So we have a pretty tight crew. We do a scooter rally every year. It's a big camp out, shit show, fiasco.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's scooters. It's it's like snow skating in a way, because it's this weird subculture. Yep. So we run the Sort of Natural. So I've been hosting this fucking scooter rally for 16, 17 years now. So we run the scooter rally. We run the Snowskate event quite similar to how we organize the scooter rallies, right?
Gotcha.
We're doing it almost the exact same way.
Yeah.
It's all right, beer, food, check in. You learn how to herd those cats, right? We want everybody to have fun. We don't want it to be a hassle. We want to feed everybody. We want everybody to get a buzz, or have some beers and be comfortable, not spend a bunch of money. How do you make an event good, right? What makes a good event for you? What's the best snow skate event you've ever showed up to, right? You got fed, you got a nice place to stay, you got to see all your friends, you got buzz, you got to do some snow skating, right? All those things are the factors. So we have kind of behind the scenes of a lot of small stuff that the crowd's so cool and easy going. It's not that big of a deal. It's super easy going. But once again, we've organized events like this for 15, 16 years. So organizing the Snowskate event is no different. In fact, the thing we changed in the last few years that we adopted from the scooter world was patches, right? So every time you show up to Boyd Hill event, the Pacific Northwest snow skaters, everybody wears fucking the denim vest or whatever, right? Yeah, so we do a patch, scooter rallies, we do a patch for every event. You have proof that you were there, right?
Gotcha.
So a couple of years ago, we started doing a patch for each event. So now it's it's a mainstay. It has to be there. So everybody that shows up gets a patch to prove you were there. You don't get a sticker, you get a patch. You don't get a wristband, you get a patch. So an embroidered, a real nice embroidered patch, different design every year, shows you what's up, right?
I like that. This is a great idea. What is the
I think everybody's gonna start doing that now too. It's you gotta prove you were there, right?
Hey,
I think the downfall with snow skating, what we've missed out on in snow skating the last few years, there was a Snowskate magazine, there was another Snowskate magazine, but where's the review, right? Here, Boyd Hill Sort of Natural, 2019. Here's who was there. Here's the shenanigans that happened. Here's who won. Here's the times. You know what I mean? And a detailed account of what happened, right? I think in the Snowskate world, we're totally missing that. You could have people in different places write reviews of different events. So we have this one centralized database or a memory of what happened, but we don't have that right now. So that's where Snowskate is really dropping the ball. There's not one magazine, one blog. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing that. Even though people aren't doing that in the current magazine, or there's no magazines now. But that's the content we're missing, because we're missing this piece of history that's only verbally recorded right now. You and I talking about it is the only record of a bunch of these events that have ever happened. Nobody's writing about it. Nobody's told stories about it. So there's not a magazine. There's no book. There's no blog. There's no podcast. So this verbal history of these crazy things that have happened and shenanigans, who competed, who showed up. We don't have that. Yeah. Podcast format seems pretty accessible.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a task I want to undertake necessarily, but like if somebody traveled to events and recorded audio, and you told stories, you had people high, and you told stories, you had people drunk, and you told stories. That's a real thing. Where somebody actually wrote down written word. So like a blog, but it's like it's what we're missing right now in Snowskate. You know, there's the infighting and there's the this and the that.
There is a lot of that. There kind of always
Yeah,
has been.
it's all
weird.
nonsense. There's room for everybody, but there's what we're not doing is recording what we're actually doing. You know what I mean? There's no permanent record of what we're actually doing, right? At all.
Yeah.
Like somebody might do an interview like this, or somebody might do that, but like it doesn't. You know, the story's not there. You know, why'd we get into Snowskate? So we're trying to change history, right? Like, it's not for the fucking hundreds of dollars you're gonna make. Right. You know, literally hundreds of dollars to be made in Snowskating.
Well, dude, it's so fun though. Everybody should try it.
Sure, but you're into it because like you want to be part of that history. Like this is happening now. It's happened in the last 5-10 years. Like we're part of it right now. But like who knows? You know, nobody's really recording it. You're recording it right now. But like there's Starfish. You know, Starfish doesn't really exist anymore. Newborn.
Yeah, whatever. Really,
yeah, they're not making anything. They want to bring it back, but like once again, are you going to events, Snowskate events, or telling those stories? You having somebody record who won this, who won the Banks Fall, who won the Serpentine. You know, we have this oral history, but we don't have a recorded history of it. So like that's really the saddest part. But you know, maybe we don't have to monetize it. Maybe we don't have to. You know, maybe that makes us more of an in group that we don't. That if you don't know, you don't know. But I think it's not fair for future generations of snowskaters that want to know how it got started and you know where we all came from.
It's the Snowskate Torah, Bryce. Just from
Snowskate Torah.
Just word of mouth. That's it. That's all it is.
And that's okay. It's just fine. It's just fine. It's not mainstream, you know. Like snowskaters always get a big boner when there's like an ad in a snowboard magazine or a review or a picture of a chick on a powder surf or whatever it is. Like, but you know, we're not snowboarding, so like, snowskating is to quit trying to be part of snowboarding. We're not snowboarding. We never have been.
No.
We all come from snowboarding, but we're not snowboarders. Like, your solution to making Snowskate huge is to adopt pro snowboarders. Fucking snowskaters don't give a fuck.
No.
That's all there is to it. Yeah. Snowskaters are snowskaters. Like, we don't need a fucking snowboarder to come in and save us. It means nothing to us. You know, like that's what snowskating needs is a pro to come in and show us how it's done. Fuck you.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Fuck off. No. Not what we're looking for. Never asked for it once. Yeah. Nobody cares.
Tell the folks how they can get a hold of you, how they can see your stuff.
Instagram is Team Boyd Hill. All the new stuff we put up on the website as often as we can. It's boydhill.com. Facebook seems to work most of the time. It's just Boyd Hill Snowskates. Follow what we're doing, but like, you know, the cool thing about being the smaller company, Drew, is like super accessible. And I feel like I've got pen pals all over the world, right? So, you know, we ship everything direct. It's not this broken ass third party system where I'm buying products from overseas and selling it to a shop and then they're selling them to you, right? It comes from our factory and I wrap it up in a box here and I send it to you. You usually get a love note from me in there and a
you still send bullets,
or stickers or something. Everybody who gets a package from me gets something weird in it.
You still still sell wax bullets? You still send those?
I think I have like one package of wax bullets left. I'll save them for you.
Oh,
I got one package hidden in the closet. I'll put them aside for you, Drew.
Oh, man.
You can put them in your Snowskate museum. But like I said, everybody, you know, we have these personal relationships with like pretty much everybody we sell products to, and that's like, to me, that's like a measurement of success, right? Like we get like these relationships, like people are riding our stuff. We're super stoked, right? Like they're stoked riding our stuff. That makes me happy. Like what's the measure of success is like, is it I sold the most Snowskates? I sold the best Snowskate? That's a good measure of success. Made the most people happy? We're stoked, like the core group, the most out, right? Like You know, we have the people riding the best shit on the best shit, right? Like, does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense, Bryce.
Are we measuring the smiles? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of smiles. Hey, man, I appreciate you being on, buddy.
Drew, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the time tonight.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you know when we put new videos out. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Brain Aqua. This has been AquaBrain TV. Remember to keep your head up and keep those knees bent.